Okay, we're going to work on scoop coating now. And so scoop coating is kind of the most important thing that you're going to do in preparing your screen for the next for photo exposure. So it's really important you pay attention to this, that you do a really good job of it, and that you're not rushing through this part of it. It always takes students a little bit of time to get the hang of this, to figure out how not to kind of goof it all up. So you just have to be patient with yourself, but also take your time. Don't rush, don't expect it all to go perfectly. You gotta kind of just, you know, stay calm, follow all the steps. So the first thing to know is this is your scoop coater. It has a really sharp edge here, and what happens is we're gonna put a bunch of photo emulsion in the bottom of this, tip it forward, and then squeegee it up like that. And we're gonna put as thin a layer as possible onto our screen. The scoop coater comes apart, so it's got this sort of trough thing here, and then these little plastic deals go on the end of it. It's really important that you check that to make sure that it's all set and stable and put together, because you don't want it popping open on you in the middle of working. So the other things that you want to make sure you have for doing this is you want to make sure you have your gloves, just so you don't get any of this photo emulsion on you. You can wear your goggles, and then you want to make sure that you also have a couple of paper towels. I always keep some paper towels close by just in case. So we keep our emulsion. This is photo emulsion, so this stuff is basically light sensitive. So once UV light hits it, so daylight, sunlight, any kind of light that has a UV spectrum in it is going to harden it. So it's going to make it, right now if we just brush this onto the screen and let it sit there in the dark and then got water on it, it would rinse away. It's water soluble. Once we hit it with UV light, it becomes waterproof, so it's water repellent. Water doesn't dissolve it. So it's really important that we kind of do this quick, and that you don't leave this bucket or any of your screens or anything like that just sitting around out in the open so that light can hit it. So we want to be really careful not to spill. I like to keep this chair right next to the scoop coating station here, and so you'll see that it's this really nice fluorescent green color. It smells like Elmer's glue, and when it's green like that, bright green, you know that it's light, that it's fresh, so that it's light sensitive, so that the light is going to harden it. So real quickly, you know, you don't have to stress about this too much, but we just want to pour a little bit of this emulsion in the bottom of the trough. And you know, you just want to fill it about halfway up, probably 3/4 of the way. You don't want to overfill it. And then this is really important that you take, you see that little, the goofy kind of like drip that's on the end of that? We want to take our paper towel and real carefully wipe the edge of that off, so that we don't have a bunch of drips and goop all over the place. If you drip on the floor like I just did, you want to make sure you clean that up. I'm trying to keep this area clean and without a lot of buildup of emulsion. So once I've done that, I'm just going to take the lid and I'm going to put the lid back on it to keep the light from hitting the emulsion, and then I'm going to scoop coat my screen. So again, the scoop coating, the trick is that you want to put a layer on there, and then we want to scrape it back thin. So it's kind of like, I don't know, butter. You've got toast and you're putting butter on it, but you want a thin layer of toast. You might smear a lot of butter on and then use the edge of the knife to scrape that butter off the edge, so it's nice and thin. That's pretty much what we're after here. So what we want to do is we want to take our scoop coater and just kind of start over here on the left hand side and tip it forward until these little black edges, kind of those little stops there, tip it forward until those touch the screen, and you'll see the emulsion kind of run up and then hit the screen, and then just pull up. And you want to keep good solid pressure on it, and turn the squeegee as you get to the top, and it'll put a nice thin layer on there. So here we'll do that again. So I make that look pretty easy. It'll be a little harder for you. So that's the first side. Then we just want to take the screen out, flip it over, and do the back side of the screen as well. And when you do this, you want to make sure that you don't have the scoop coater on the wooden or metal part. You want to make sure you have it just inside the screen. You don't have to go all the way out to the edge. Just get it within a ½ an inch or so of the edge. We'll tip it forward again until the emulsion hits the screen. We're going to pull it forward. Just like that. So you might make a mistake. I'll do this just to show you what happens here. And you might get a little bit, oh no, you've got a big drip like that, right? Big emergency, oh crap, what do I do? Pretty simple, you just kind of go back over it. Doesn't matter how many times you do this, as long as you're putting it on like in a thin, even layer, you can just kind of smooth it out. So right now I'm not actually adding any emulsion to this, I'm just basically scraping it. So I'm just trying to scrape it thin now. I have emulsion on both sides of the screen. I've done the back again, scraped it nice and thin. I'm going to flip it over. And I'm going to scrape this side thin. So we just want the thinnest layer of emulsion possible. Different people who do different kinds of screen printing, like commercial printers and stuff like that, sometimes they'll put it on thicker. It gives you a little bit more of a hardy screen that lasts a little bit longer, but since half of our problem is getting the stuff blown out of here and off of the screen, that's not really the biggest concern we have right now. So I'm going to go run really quickly and put this upstairs in one of the dark sort of cabinets. We have one underneath the exposure unit and another one kind of in a closet area up there. So we're just going to put the screen away. Be right back. You saw how long I took, not very long, so you just want to make sure that you put that away so that it doesn't get hit by the light. Now the trick is that we're going to try and clean this off so that we get as much of this emulsion back into the bucket as possible. I like to keep a couple of these black mat board cards available as well, and so I'm just going to dump as much of this as I can back into our bucket. And cleanup is really, really important in this class. Lots of people have to use all of this gear and equipment, so you want to make sure that you're being conscientious and thoughtful and clean up after yourself. So we're going to just use the card to scrape as much of this emulsion back into the bucket as possible. So it takes a little while to clean it, which is like all things in printmaking. The cleanup takes the longest amount of time, but okay. So once I get as much of this emulsion back into the bucket as I can get, I will take this over to the sink and rinse it really, really well. You want to scrub every single bit of the green emulsion off of your scoop coater here. So this is, and we can just throw the card away. And then we want to take the bucket and close the lid on it. And if I've made any messes here, I want to go ahead and clean those up. Make sure the lid is nice and clean. I'm ready to go. And it's set for the next person.